There are people you meet only once, okay? And yet, something inside you changes forever. Not because they taught you something, not because they helped you grow, but because being near them felt like standing in front of a mirror that reflected a version of you that shouldn't exist. Carl Jung believed that some individuals carry psychological patterns so distorted, so fragmented, that simply being around them can twist your emotions, drain your energy, and subtly rewrite your sense of self. He called them living shadows. And the disturbing part is this: you've already met one. Maybe they smiled, maybe they encouraged you, maybe they promised something. But something unseen was pulling at your mind, shaping you without permission. Today, you're going to meet 6 of them, but more importantly, you're going to learn how to finally see them. Because Jung believed that once you notice the shadow in someone else, you can never unsee it again. First, the emotional mirror thief. Jung wrote that the most dangerous individuals are not the loudest ones, but the ones who quietly enter your emotional system and start rearranging the furniture. This is the mirror thief. They are kind, empathetic, warm. They listen, they reflect, they absorb. But they don't do this to understand you. They do it to inhabit you. Modern psychology calls this identity parasitism. A person who copies your values, your tone, your emotions, your dreams, until you start trusting them more than yourself. They say things like, "Wow, I feel exactly the same. I've never met anyone so similar. I understand you on a deep level." You think this is connection, but it's calculated synchronization, like a psychological burglar learning the lock to your inner world. The mirror thief's danger is simple. They make you forget where you end and they begin. But the next type is worse, because they don't copy your emotions. They aim to rewrite them. Meet the reality bender. Jung believed that some people do not live in the same reality as the rest of us. They live in a dream stitched together by fear, desire, and unspoken wounds. And when they enter your life, they invite you into that dream. This is the reality bender. They distort facts. They rearrange memories. They retell events to paint themselves as the victim, the hero, the savior. You might tell them, "You said this yesterday," and they'll respond, "No, I didn't. You're remembering it wrong." Before long, your certainty becomes their playground. Jung described them perfectly. Neurotic people do not lie. They create subjective truths, but once you step into their reality, even for a moment, you start doubting your own mind. Modern neuroscience calls this memory interference, when repeated emotional pressure reshapes how you recall events. But the next type doesn't bend your reality. They drain your life force. This is the silent emotional vampire. Jung believed that certain people carry unprocessed darkness, and this darkness is so heavy that simply being near them is exhausting. This is the silent vampire. They don't shout. They don't argue. They don't manipulate directly. They simply emit emotional gravity. Psychologists today call this chronic emotional extraction, a person who can only regulate their feelings by offloading them onto others. You leave every conversation feeling drained, foggy, heavier. Your mind becomes quieter, your thoughts slower, your energy lower, because your nervous system has been working overtime to stabilize theirs. The silent vampire isn't evil. They're empty. They don't want your energy, they need it. But the next type, they don't drain you. They consume your identity. This brings us to the identity sculptor. Kuhn believed that some individuals see relationships not as connections, but as projects. This is the identity sculptor, the person who wants to shape you into the version that benefits them. They'll say, "You're so talented, only you'd be more like this. You should think this way instead. I'm just helping you improve." But their improvement is always one-directional, toward their needs, their worldview, their comfort. They don't love you. They love the sculpture they're carving out of you. This is the most subtle form of psychological control because it feels like support till you wake up one day and realize you no longer recognize the person in the mirror. But the next type doesn't sculpt you, they shadow you. This is the trauma echo. This one is Jung's darkest insight. He believed that when someone carries unhealed trauma, they unconsciously recreate situations where others feel the same pain they once endured. Not intentionally, but inevitably. This is the trauma echo. They don't hurt you because they're cruel. They hurt you because they're replaying a story that their unconscious mind refuses to let go of. If they were abandoned, they create instability. If they were controlled, they create chaos. If they were belittled, they criticize without mercy. They are not villains, they are haunted. Pathology calls this repetition compulsion, the urge to recreate unresolved emotional scenarios in hopes of finally gaining control. Okay, but you become collateral damage in someone else's war. And yet, there is one more. One Jung considered the most dangerous of all, the shadow possessor. Jung believed that the greatest threat in human relationships is the person who refuses to acknowledge their own shadow. Because a person who doesn't face their darkness projects it onto you. This is the shadow possessor. They blame, they accuse, demoralize, they judge. Every flaw they see in others is a reflection of something hidden inside them. You become their canvas, their emotional dumping ground, their symbolic enemy. Modern psychology calls this projective identification, when someone forces you into the role of whatever they cannot accept within themselves. If they repress anger, your calmness irritates them. If they repress envy, your success threatens them. If they repress shame, your confidence humiliates them. You pay for sins they never confessed. So why are these types so deadly? Jung didn't label these people to demonize them. He labeled them because he knew this truth. Until you see the shadow in others, you will mistake it for your own. These psychological predators do not appear through intentions, but through unconscious forces. They don't know what they're doing, but your life still feels the impact. And this leads to the next problem. Even if you identify these 6 types, there is one final danger Jung warned about. The shadow you fear most might be living in you, because every person you meet is not only a mirror, they are a message. And the question is, what part of you keeps attracting them? We'll explore that in the next video. Thanks for watching. If this helped you see something new, subscribe for more.